assignments in a time, Vamshi.
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay, so at least I just say if and only if you have a knowledge on control statements, then only you can easily handle the coding. Okay, any coding, it may be C or it may be Python, it may be Java, anything, any coding language. Okay, so when we have a good knowledge on the control statement, then only we will do it actually. Okay,
Okay.
clear?
Sure.
So make sure that we have a time. So please be spend some time and finish it, that assignments what we have it. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm expecting all assignments we should finish it. Okay. Sai, what about you? And Ganesh, I think Ganesh, you did it right.
Yes, I sent it. Good.
Yeah. So what about Suman, Kishore, Prasad?
I've done it only once. I get lot of errors.
So you did only one?
Yes.
Okay. What about rest of 9?
Sir, I've done all of the questions.
Okay.
I'm sent to
Did
you.
you discuss with Kishore at least? If you've done your 8 or 9 questions, then have you time to discuss with the Kishore so that it would be no, so people will know it, right? If you've done your assignment, then you can just discuss with others and you'll get some knowledge, right? Maybe that guys also can have some knowledge, right?
Yes, sir, but I'm in room. I not go to institutes.
So don't, I already told you, right? So make sure that you should be there in an institute at least 4 to 5 hours in a class, okay? So otherwise, no use. You can stay in your home and you can listen to the classes. That's not a big deal, okay?
Okay, sir.
So if you're staying in a near to location of institute, then you should why you waste of your time? So just go and spend some time with the institute and practice more things, guys. If you need a job, then you have to spend time. There is no lab, so okay, cool enough. Then get one new laptop, Prasad, at least. Okay. So let me go for the Anaconda Navigator. I think so. Yesterday class we were done the while loop. Okay, today I would like to try to finish it for loop actually. Okay, so before we start a for loop, then I would like to open my Microsoft whiteboard for office.com. Okay, so let me delete the previous one. Okay, so guys, basically in yesterday's class, what exactly we did it while, right? So the while, which is repeat the task based upon the condition, right? Until unless the condition has been false, what we written in that particular while loop, it can be repeats, right? Yes or no? That is exactly the logic of the while. Now we are going to be discussing about a for loop. When we are talking about for loop, which is not depending on the condition actually, okay, which is not at all depending on the condition, but then how the for loop is repeating without condition. For example, so you have some kind of group of elements are there, okay? So we have a group of elements. Let me consider the group of elements which may have some number of elements are there, okay? Let me consider which is having the 10 group of elements are there. We have a 10 elements in this particular group, okay? So here the for loop, which is depending on this particular group, how many number of elements are there in this particular group, that many times this particular for loop can be repeated, okay? For example, for first iteration, which is accessing the first element, for second iteration it will be go for accessing the second one, for third iteration it will be go for accessing the third one, okay? and for fourth iteration it will be go for accessing the fourth one. For fifth iteration it will be go for accessing the fifth one, and so on until unless it is reaching the all the elements from that particular group. Okay, so in case of Python programming language, the for loop, which is not depending on the condition, which is depending on the number of elements in the group. So you have some kind of group of elements are there. So how many number of elements are there in this particular group, that many times that particular loop can be repeats. Clear? Is this clear or not? So let's do a small flowchart for understanding of for loop. Let me consider here I have a group. The group, it can be anything. It can be list of elements, or it can be tuple of elements. It's a group of characters, or else it can be set of elements, or it may be dictionary, any kind of sequential data type. Okay, so for example, it may have some elements are there. So we have some elements are there. This is my element 1, this is my element 2, this is my element 3, this is my element 4, and so on. We have the n elements are there. Okay, we have n elements are there. This is the sequence which is defined by the programmer only, or user. Okay, so who is the user, that particular, who is the programmer, that particular program. Okay, so that guy is going to be implementing that particular group or sequence. Now let me consider we are going to be starting your program. So first statement has been executed. Once the first statement has been done, it will be go for executing the each and every statement. After some time we got the for keyword. Okay, so basically in a for keyword, what exactly we have it, so nothing we have it here. We have some user defined variable. Okay, so here we have some kind of user defined variable. So we want to performing on particular task. Let me consider this is my task actually. So this is the task we written inside of the for. Then how many times it can be repeated? It can be repeated the n times. How many number of elements we have it here, that many times it can be repeated. How it is happen will try to be understood one more time. The program, it is executing statement by statement. So after execution of some statements, we got the for, as well as we have some kind of user defined group or sequence we have it. Okay, so first what we will do, this is the for, it is accessing the first element from this sequence, and which is giving to this particular variable var. Okay, so the var which is holding the first element for first iteration, once it was updated successfully, then it will be go for execution of this particular task. After execution of this particular task, then what we can do, it will be go for updating the same variable one more time. For second iteration, this is the for loop, it will be go for accessing the second element, and this is the second element will be allocated to the same variable. Okay, so now for second iteration, the variable var which is holding the second element, once it was updated successfully, then it will be go for execution of this particular task. After updating this, but after execution of this particular task, it will be go for updating the one more element. For third iteration, this is the for which is accessing the third element, and this particular element which is holding inside of the this particular variable var. Once it is updated successfully, then it will be go for execution of the same task. Then after execution of this particular task, it will be go for updating the var. So this is the way it can be repeated the till last. For example, we have the last element is element n, so which is accessing the last element and which is holding the same variable. Once it is updated successfully, then it will be go for execution of the task. After that one, it will try to be go for updating the variable var, but unfortunately we don't have any element after the en, right? If and only if all elements are done, if all elements iterations are done, then what we can do, it will be go for executing the else block. So here there is no condition here. Okay, so here updation. Okay, so if here updation is successful, then it will be go for execution of the task. Here updation is failed, then we have a block. The block is else block. This is else block. It may contains the small task. It will execute the when when the updation has been failed. After that one, the else can be executed, then after it will be stops your loop. So in case of while and the for, what exactly the difference, guys? What exactly the difference between the while and for?
In while you're update.
Hmm?
They,
While depends on the condition, but here it depends on the elements of the group.
Yes, in case of while, it can be repeat the task or it can be executing the task multiple times, depends upon the condition. But in case of for, which is not depending on the condition, how many number of elements are there in any user sequential variable, so that many times the task can be repeated. If elements we have only 4, the task can be repeated only 4 times. And if the sequential variable it may have the 1000 elements, then the task can be repeated 1000 actually. Clear? So this is simply the syntax of the flowchart of the for. So once we are understood this particular flowchart, let me go for write the syntax for the float, and the same syntax we should use for when you are using the for. Okay. For example, the program it has been started from the first statement. After execution of some statements, we are getting the for keyword, right? And you know what? For is followed by the one user defined variable. So here the var is the name is var, but you can use anything in place of var. Okay. After that one, we should have the in keyword. So when you are implementing the for, we should remember the two keywords for and in, and followed by the one sequential variable, or else we have some kind of group of elements. Okay. So then we should colon symbol, and whatever the task you want to repeat it, that particular task of that particular statements you should write inside of that particular block. Okay. For example, if all iterations are done, I just want to be execute the else block as optional, then we can use the else. We can use else, right? Then after we can write the task over here. So this is the else can be executed if and only if all iterations are done. But the for can be repeated how many number of elements are done, how many number of elements we have it, that many times this is the internal for loop task can be executed. This is the simply syntax of the for. So make sure that the for loop it is having the minimum 3 keywords. One is the for, and second one is the in, and third one is the else. At least 2, maximum is 3. Clear?
sure.
Take it this small program. Done. Okay. Now let's do a small program for understanding of this for. Just launch the Jupyter notebook. Go to desktop. Okay. So guys, make sure that you should finish it this all programs. So with help of the while loop, now we'll try to go for the for loop example, right? Okay. Okay. Write a program, print the elements in list. So you have a list and you want to print the elements inside of the list. Okay. So list means it's one user defined variable, right? I mean, the list is one sequential variable, right? So here which is holding some kind of list of elements. It may be 23. You can hold anything, guys. So for example, we have some numbers. 6 numbers are there. 6 elements are there in my list. I want to print the elements in this particular list. Simply, what I should do that I can use the var, and we can use any user defined variable, and here in is a keyword and followed by the group. Here my group is list group. Okay, so list is my group. So for every iteration, the ELE will be holding the one element from the list. For first iteration, the ELE which is holding the 23. So that I would like to go for print the 23. For second iteration, it will be go for the second one. For third iteration, third element. So this is the way automatically the ELEB can be updated. Okay, from the group of elements when which is reached the 56, and it will perform that particular task. After that one, which is try to be accessing the last 56 element after the 56 element, which is no more elements are there after 56, so that the else can be repeats, the else can be executed. Okay, so for done, for loop is done. So just try to understand here. So which we are printing only one print statement, right? But which is printing the ELE. By the time of printing the ELE, okay, for first iteration, first element, for second iteration, second element, third iteration, third element, fourth iteration, fourth element, fifth iteration, fifth element, sixth iteration, sixth element. This is the way we are going to be accessing the elements by element from the list or any group. Clear? This is very small program, nothing much. Note this example, guys. Okay, pretty cool. So same program, we'll try with one more example. With help of the for loop, we can try with one more example. Write a program, print even elements in list. So the list, it may contains some numbers, it may be even numbers, it may be odd numbers, right? It may be odd numbers. So we have, it may be even numbers, it may be odd numbers, right? So you would like to go for find the only even numbers. So you would like to go for print the element only, but if and only if that ELE which is divisible with 2, then it's an even number. I want to print only even numbers, right? Once the ELE is the even, then I can print the ELE. Otherwise, I can simply ignore it. Simple logic. So from this list, it may have some number of elements are there. From that one, we are going to be accessing only even numbers. This is a small logic. Note this example. Done. Okay. No. Next, one more program. Write a program. Print oval from string. So we have a string. From that particular string, you want to print only ovals. Okay. So you may have some string. So it may be anything. So you just take the input from the user. So you just enter the string. You can enter any string actually. So from that one, it would like to go for accessing only oval numbers, right? So for char, we are going to accessing the each and every character from the string. We're going to be accessing the each and every character from the string. I would like to check if my char in. So if my char in, it may be AE IOU capitals or smalls AE IOU, right? If in case my char which is available in this particular group of ovals, then we would like to go for print that particular char. Otherwise, you don't need to print it. Simply you can print the else block, and it's optional as well. Okay, for loop has done. For loop done. So here I enter the some characters, and some characters I enter. So from this particular characters, which is going to be accessing only ovals. These are all ovals, right? From this particular group of characters. Okay, so we are just accessing only ovals. I want to print these ovals one after one. So instead of the one by one, I just want to print one after one. Simply after printing the char, we can use the end, and here we can use the some spaces. So each and every character. Yep. So here I just have to go to the new line. So AEIO, AIA, U, II, UE, right? So these are the characters or the vowels from this particular string. So this is the way we can use the for loop. Any questions?
So yeah, why did you put the slash and n in print
So the
statement
reason
of
is that if
else?
I'm not putting this \n, then this is the for loop done also, which can be printing after this vowels only. Okay,
Oh,
I
okay.
want to print this particular for loop after printing all the vowels. Okay.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Clear, right? Okay, now here I have a question. I want to introduce the one particular function. The function is range function. Okay, for example, I want to be generate the some range of elements. I want to generate the 10 elements from the 0 to 9. Then when I'm giving the range of 10, which is generating the range of elements from the 0 to 9, totally 10 elements it can be generated. Total 10 elements. For example, I have one more range. I have a range function with the different arguments. For example, if I'm giving the two arguments 10 comma, for example 30, in this particular situation, which is generating the totally 20 elements. 30 minus 10, it's a 20 elements, right? But which is started with the 10 comma, 11 comma, and so on till 28 comma, 29 comma. Okay, till 29 we can access or we can return it. So totally we have a 30 elements. Total we have a 30 elements. For example, we have a range function. So we have a range function 10 comma, for example 40 comma. If I'm giving the 6 is my step, which means every element we are accessing from the 10 to 39 with a 6 difference. 10 plus 6 16, 16 plus 6 22, 22 plus 6 28, 28 plus 6 34, 34 plus 6 40. But 40 it is not less than or equal to 39. 40 we cannot access. 40 will be your stop element, right? That's the reason still 34 only we can access. So this is the way the range we can use in three ways. One is single argument, second is two arguments, third one is three arguments. If I'm giving the single argument which is started with 0 till what number you given, that number minus 1. If I'm giving the two arguments and which is started with that element, and it will be stop the second element minus 1. Okay, and will we go for the range of stop element, start element, stop end element, step element. So from starter to stop minus 1 with stepwise elements we are accessing. That is the use of the range function. Okay, let's go for write a small program. Write a program, print 1 to 10 elements. Just simply print 1 to 10 elements. Here I just use the for ele in, we just use the range function, guys. Range of 1 comma 11 we can give you, then which is started with the 10, and it will be prints the it will accessing till 10, or it will returns the 10. Okay, so that we just print the var of ele in range of 1 comma 11. So in place of group, here I'm using the range. So here the ele for first element, start element, second element, third element till 10, whatever we have it will access. That is the use of the range function. Okay, for example,
Hello, can I ask you something?
sure.
So if you're using a for loop and you're using a while loop, right? So you can essentially achieve the same results using a for
Of
loop.
course,
Just
we can achieve the same results, but one thing is that there it is depending on the condition, here which is not depending on the condition. Okay,
right. Okay, and then I guess in while loop you have to do some kind of increment and this does automatically.
Yeah, so in case of while, a condition won't be updated automatically. Okay,
Gotcha.
but
Okay.
here it's a condition can be that means the next element can be updated automatically, that we are not doing it manually. Okay, but in
Okay.
case of while, make sure that we should update the condition, otherwise condition never fail, the loop is never stop, and it can be iterated infinity times. Okay,
Gotcha.
but
Thank
in
you.
case of for loop, it's a simple thing, and how many times you want to repeat it, just we can use the range of that one, automatically it can be do it, right?
Okay.
If you
Thanks.
know that how many times you want to repeat it, then we can use the for. If you don't know how many times you want to repeat it, then we can go for the while. You got my point?
Okay.
Yep.
Makes sense. Okay.
Now here I just give you the 10, then which is started with 0 and it will be stop at 9. Next same thing, we just give you with step element. For example, we should start with the 10 and we need to start with the 10, stop with 40, and with step is 6, then 10, 16, 22, 28, 34 only we can access. That's the use of the range function. Okay, now for understanding of the range function in for loop, we'll do a small program. Write a program. Yesterday I think we done the factorial of one particular number, right? Same program we will do with help of the for loop. Write a program, find the factorial of a number. Okay, so the number which is taken by user, or which is given by user, so enter the number. Okay, so enter the number. So we don't need to update the condition, right? For every time we should store the fact variable. The fact is default, it's a 1. So for I in range of, we need to start with 1 and we need to stop with the n, right? So if you want to stop n, then we should give you n plus 1. Okay, if you want to access the till n, we just need to give the stop element is n plus 1. For every iteration, the fact it can be updated with multiplication of the previous fact and present value of the I. Okay, so if all iterations are done, then else can be executed. So here we can print the n and we just print the factorial symbol and we can print the fact variable. Okay, simple program, right? Nothing much complication. But in case of while, we have to update the condition and we need to write the condition, and so we need to update the value. So there is something multiple statements you should write in case of while, but here very simple thing, right? So for will be very simple when you're comparing with while. Note this program. Done. Done, right? Guys, is it done or not? If you're done, please let me know it, man. Okay, here we'll do one more program. Write a program, find the sum of squares of first n natural numbers. Okay, which means that if I enter the 100, then which means that 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square, okay, and so on, 100 square. So whatever the value we will get it, that you want to print it. So for that one, we just take the same program, not changing much. So here I just use the sum variable is 0 because of when you're started with, when you're using the, okay, addition, then we should use the initial value is 0. If you want to multiply, then we can use the 1. Okay. For every iteration, I would like to go for update my previous sum and my present value of the I, which is power of 2. So no, the range should be 1 and minus 1. No, you are the writing and stuff. Can you explain? I don't know for exactly the range should be 1 to n minus 1. No. Okay, fine. I will explain it. See here why I am writing the 1 to n plus 1. The reason is that I already told you the range. If I'm giving the my start is some number, if I'm giving the my stop is some number, okay, which means that which is start accessing from the 1 and it will be stops at the last number minus 1. So 11 minus 1, how much? It could be the 10, right? So which is accessing the 1 to 10 only. Okay, but now here when I'm using the sum of the first n natural numbers, my last n value is for example 100. For example, my last number 100. So 100 also I want to be access. That means your 100 also I want access. If you want to access the 100, then what should be the value of the stop? So 100 plus 1 only, right? So that's the reason I'm using here n plus 1. Clear, Sai?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, so we are updating the sum and the present value of the I, it's a power of 2, and then if all iterations are done, we just simply print the sum variable. Now if I enter the 100, then which is the 338350, is it correct or wrong? And into what is the formula for the sum of the squares of n natural numbers? What is the formula for sum of squares of n natural numbers?
Is it n plus 1 by 2? I'm not sure.
Sum of squares of n natural numbers formula. So n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6. Okay, let's do it whether is it correct or wrong. With verification we'll do it. So here my n is how much? It's 100, right? 100 into n plus 1 into next one is 2n plus 1, right? 2n plus 1 in the sense 200 plus 1 by how much? By 6. Is it same or not? This value and this value, is it same or not? Even in verification also we are getting the same result, right? Clear? Guys, if you have any small question, please let me know. I would like to try to answer you. Because of control statements is going to be ending it. Okay. So if you have any question, please let me know it. Otherwise, you might be confused yourself. Done? Okay. Yesterday, we just given some programs. The programs are, let a program find the sum of digits of a number, and write a program find the sum of digits of a number is even or odd, square, number of factors, and number is a prime or not, factorial. This all same programs we can try with for as well. Same programs we can do it with for loop also. Whatever the programs are given in as an assignments as an yesterday class, okay, same assignments we will do with help of the for loop. Nothing new. Okay, so tomorrow also we'll catch up and we'll try to finish it all controls. If you have any kind of questions and whatever it is, we'll try to finish it all control statement by tomorrow class. Okay, so guys, make sure that we can try to do it this assignments and please submit it as ASAP. I would like to go for a close the session. If you have any kind of question, please be asked.
It's like, what's the best way to submit these assignments? Do you have an email address where we can submit this?
I think you have my number, right? So you can share it through my WhatsApp number.
You just have to take a screenshot and
Yeah.
send it to
So
you.
whatever the question, whatever the program you did it, okay, that
Okay.
program and the corresponding results, you just share it. That's fair enough for me. Okay.
You just want the screenshots of that, right?
Yep. I just need the screenshot of your program along with your result.
Okay.
I don't want to read your okay code and everything. Maybe.
No, I was just trying to find out if there's like a better way to do this, because you just
Yeah. So
have
in
the
the
file.
canvas also we can upload it, but
Okay.
no need of it. It's a very simple things, right? You can try it. Okay. It's not like university level of
Right.
So just do it yourself and just execute it, and you will get some result, right? And the code and the corresponding result, you can take a screenshot of from your mobile, whatever it is, and send it in a WhatsApp. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, guys. Bye. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Keep on.